Thank you all for coming to this event today. This is a Missionaries to the Preborn talk, so if anyone's in the wrong room, stay here anyways. We are very fortunate to have some interesting people coming to talk today. Before we get into the main section of the portion, I'd like to discuss a couple of things. First of all, the group that's sponsoring this is Federation Without Television. The purpose of Federation Without Television is multifold. It is one to provide a forum for the expression of ideas ignored, suppressed, marginalized, vilified by the mainstream media, to promote creativity and spontaneity, to provide forums for discussion of intellectually stimulating topics, and to promote critical discourse, and to discourage abusive watching of mainstream media and television, and to promote less television watching. We do a wide variety of programs on a number of topics. We do informal chats, we do presentations, we do debates. We had military debate last week. We bring in viewpoints of all spectrums. So we've even brought in Planned Parenthood. We brought them in a conference last year. We had another pro-life speaker come in last year. We had liberals and conservatives. We've had socialists come. We've had John Birch Society come. So in a nutshell, we try to be really fair and get a lot of different ideas out. And we try to bring in a lot of different people. Although the semester is winding down quickly, we still have 2 events after this occurring. One of them is tonight. We're having one of our meetings, and this is in Thompson Hall lobby. Okay, it's in Mike's room. What is the number of your room? 434. 434. And we're going to have a discussion on Americanism at 7:15. So anyone who wants to come out to that, we'd love to have you. And then on finals week, on Monday, we're going to have a discussion for anyone that wants to come, 7 o'clock. And we will be talking about, I forget, but does anyone know? We will be talking something intellectually stimulating. Forget what it is, but it was intellectually stimulating. Okay. Something, I don't know. Can't think of it, unfortunately, off the top of my head, but it'll be worth your while. Okay, for tonight's talk, I'd like to say a few things before we get into the talk. This is a very heated issue, and when the missionaries were here before, it caused a lot of controversy. So we want to make sure we're having a civil and mature and rational discussion here. And sometimes in the abortion debate, people can get really charged with issues on both sides, and emotions can overtake. So let's try to be civil and just. And remember, most of all, this is not a Jerry Springer show, and it's not WWF wrestling. So let's try to respect each other, even if we have disagreements and viewpoints, and try to be civil and just and mature about things. One thing that we're going to try to do, when we're into the discussion portion, first it's going to be a presentation. They're going to do a presentation about where they stand, why they feel, how they feel about abortion, and the purpose of their group and themselves. They're going to give a presentation about that, and then after that we're going to open the floor up for questions to them and further discussion about this issue. Now, during the discussion portion, please respect people during their presentation portion. Let them speak, and then remember, when they're finished, you can let them know your opinions, let them express themselves fully, and let it be known that after they're done, you can have your say too. Also, one thing we would like to try to do is to keep it gender balanced in the discussion. That meaning that not just allow all males to talk and make it, not let males dominate and, let females have, because sometimes in society, males can tend to dominate, so we want to have it fair like that. And I will be trying to moderate. We wanted to also have a female moderator, but that doesn't look like that's going to be happening, but if someone comes here, we can have that. Hopefully that gives a good idea of what we want to accomplish with this discussion. And like I said, remember to try to be civil and mature and rational about things. So with that being said, I'm going to hand the floor over to the missionaries to the Preborn, and they'll talk about themselves, why they do what they do, and why abortion is wrong to them.
I'm Pastor Maxwell from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was glad to see that one of the goals of this group is, discouraging student apathy. I think that's one of the biggest problems in America today is apathy. We run into that all the time, in all circles, all age groups. So glad to see that they're doing this. I'm glad for the opportunity to be here. I'm just going to talk for about 15 minutes, giving a little bit of the history of the mission and what our intent is. And then Judy's going to speak for about 10 minutes or so also, and then after that, it's Q&A time. The mission began in 1990. We started the mission in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I had gotten involved in the abortion matter a couple years earlier. My wife was involved first. My wife's name is Clara. We have mentioned about it first for our child. So we're totally at the opposite end of finding out not having children. She was involved first. I never really thought much about the abortion issue. I thought it was wrong to kill a little baby like that, but never really did anything. Maybe signed a petition. That was about it. My wife was involved a little bit more. But in 1988, people showed me pictures of the murdered preborn babies. And I was really stunned by that because I'd always been told that abortion was just the removal of some tissue. And that was all there was to it. So when I saw these photographs, I went down to the public library to pull out a medical textbook on fetal development because I wanted to see for myself what these preborn children would look like. And I saw that they were human beings. They have, heads, arms, legs, eyes, the whole bit. And I just couldn't believe that this was going on in our country. I felt incredibly bad for them because I knew they had no voice of their own. And here they were oppressed by our government. Their killing was legal in our country. And I thought, man, we need to speak up for them because they can't speak up for themselves. So I went out with some people in the church down to an abortion clinic for the first time in my life and stood out there. And that was the first time in my life I realized abortion wasn't just some abstract issue, but it was about people. Because here I saw for the first time women coming who were pregnant, kill babies that they were carrying in the womb. And so I began to minister outside the abortion clinic, offer help to the moms, give them literature and those types of things. Well, I did that for about 3 months or so, and then I heard about a thing called Operation Rescue, which started in 1988. This is where people would blockade the doors to abortion clinics. And it would be done peacefully. You would sit in front of the door, giving time for the sidewalk counselors to talk to the moms. And then the police would come, they'd warn you to leave, you wouldn't leave, and then they would arrest you. And usually the police were pretty nice about it. They would just drag you away. Sometimes they got quite brutal with you. I was in that billy club one time. They would just come along the whole time. One gentleman I know had his arm broken. Things like that would take place sometimes with the police. It actually turned out to be one of the biggest social movements our country has ever seen. In 1988 to 1992, there was over 60,000 arrests made across the country. Most people don't even know that. It was far more than what took place, of the arrests that took place during the civil rights movement in the 60s. And so it was a huge movement. It went on from coast to coast. And during the midst of that movement in 1990, I decided we needed to have people who didn't just do this on a voluntary basis, show up once a week down to the abortion clinic or once a month or something like that, but we needed to have people who would devote their lives to minister on a full-time basis. In other words, a full-time effort to try to stem the tide of this killing. So we decided to meet with people. I met with people around the state of Wisconsin, different little meetings at churches, homes, things like that, for about 3 months. And while we were putting this together, we really didn't know what we were going to call it at the time. We just knew it was a thing that we needed to do. And as we were putting it together, I realized what we were doing was forming a mission. And I was a missions major in college and planned on going to look for Bible translators overseas. And got a different plans from here up to Wisconsin and pastoring here. So one day I realized with forming a mission, I went over and pulled Earl Parkin's book off my shelf, which is called Missions USA, where he talks about every Christian mission in America that's operating in this country. And I looked at the list